Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin' Mommy, and it's Monday, March 17, 2025. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm here for my weekly cross-stitching update, and I have a good amount to share. I have a little bit of acquisitions, but I'm going to put that at the end, and along with some upcoming new starts in case you want to jump in and join me. So first off, we'll do, I guess, Sunday stitching, which I've been working on My Big Toes books of the Bible to and from church on Sunday. So just a, 30-40 minutes in the car. Although now that I've been up here in the border, I've been continuing on at home in order to get a section done every week. So this is 25 count Through the Stones, Lugana by Bee Stitch Me. Doing it 1/1 full cross with the called for silks. I got this green bit done. So one more week of green, then I can go to brown. I do enjoy working with the green. It's just very monotonous to do the same thing every week, but eventually it'll be more fun and we'll get to do some different things. And then I'll be really excited when I get to the green because it'll be in the midst of all the brown letters. So there's mostly brown in this. So that'll be fun. One more week of green. Then I'll try to start chipping away at the rest of that border at the top, and then I can get into some letters. So maybe in April, I can get to some of the words. And then my travel stitching was successful. I've been working on Daisies by It's So Emma. It's the first of the Stitchy seed packet cross stitch series. You can find them on the Fat Quarter Shop. I got this done, which is great. I guess I'll just keep it on here so you can see that it isn't white fabric. It is a light tan, slightly mottled. It's Sand Dollar by Bee Stitch Me, 25 count Lugana, 1/1 full cross. And I'm using some fancy flosses that were in my stash, different than what's called for. And then I use B5200 for the daisy to make sure it stood out a little more obviously. So that's done, which is nice. So I switched over to Kitty and Me Designs, my Cats and Hearts May, which is a series I was working on last year. So but then after that, I'm going to pick up Tulips, which is the February flower. And I will be changing the colors to do fancy floss for this too. And especially, I don't like that this back part of the tulip just gets lost, so I'll be changing that a little bit. But that's nice that that's done. My Cats and Hearts, here it is. I already took it out. I'm working on May. This is by Kitty and Me Designs, and this is a pretty one. I got more done on it than I expected to, so a nice start. I was able to take it with me to a parent meeting of orientation for junior high, and since it's my third time sending a kid to junior high, I just needed to listen a little bit. I'd heard most of it before. It's a 25 count white Lugana 1/1 full cross. Called for DMCs except for the kitty cat, which I'm changing from black to DMC 535 to look like Smokey. So I picked this color that's around the outside of these little diamonds to start because it was right in the center. I'm like, oh, that'll be great. It'll be a lot of things, a lot of stuff. And then eventually I had to start counting around as well, but it's the second lightest blue, and it's like a blue-violet periwinkle kind of color, but it was a lot of places. So I was able to just get a nice start on that. So cool, cool, cool. I'm excited about that, to get back to these. And that's fun. So I got a nice start on that one. Hopefully I can make, I'm not sure how much travel stitching I will be doing this week. So the whole week is going to be crazy. All week. One or the other of my younger two kids has something going on every day, if not both of them. So I don't know if I'll get travel stitching. I'll be driving a lot. I don't know if I'll be waiting a lot. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. So we'll see how much I can get done on that this week. It might also affect my regular stitching at home, just because, you know, all the things. It's one of those weeks. So I think that's all for now of that. So we have, yeah, so I had a small finish and a small start. So that was fun with my travel stitching. And then with temperature stitching, I've been doing my temperature daily 30 with the 5 projects that have the least amount of stitches remaining in Pattern Keeper. And I have 2 digits assigned to each piece. So I did not get to Cupcake's Dreams this week, but I did pull out Meadow one day, which was the opposite last week. I did several days on Cupcake Dreams and nothing on Meadow. So, you know, it kind of just depends on what the temperature is, of course. So first off, we did Robin Christmas patchwork, and I did this twice. Let's see. Yeah, twice for travel stitching, or not travel, temperature stitching. Although one day I didn't really get any time on it. I wrote down 7 stitches and I never really got a chance to make it up. But it also came out for like regular stitching for Wednesday and Thursday. So I guess I'll go ahead and just show it now. But this was temperature and whip-go stitching. My whip-go pieces this year are things I'd like to try to finish. So I'm happy that it's both places right now, because then I can keep chipping away at it, even when it's not on deck for my main piece for the day. So this is the 32 count linen that came with the kit and all the called for DMCs. I adjusted mine. I'm taking out some blocks and shortening it a little bit, and I'm really happy with it so far. So I think 2 over 2 full cross. I think I finished this band, and these guys, I still have their noses to put on, and there might be a pot or something right there too. That's almost done right there. I think, I'm not sure what all I did. I think I'd already finished the trees. So anyways, I got, let's see, 58 stitches on the first temperature stitching, 7 the next day, and then my main stitches are 189 stitches and 187, so both of those were okay chunks. Total, now it's at 67.72%, so it is coming along. This is done now for March's whip-go. I've worked on it 4 days as my main travel piece, so but it will still hopefully occasionally come out for my temperature stitching for 30 minutes whenever it is assigned. I think it's assigned to the 0 and the 1 because it is the piece that has the least amount of stitches remaining in Pattern Keeper as of when I last updated my statistics. And I won't update my statistics again until I finish one of them, and then I'll kind of go update everything and see what's the next, you know, top 5 pieces. The next thing I worked on was Robin Christmas. Just kidding, that was Robin Christmas Little Owl patchwork, which also got a lot of stitches this week. Probably more than Robin Christmas, actually. I worked on it 3 times for temperature stitching. No, yes, 3 times. With a half hour each time, and then 2 phone calls. And so, and sometimes if I had, you know, my thread on the needle, I just, after the half hour was over, I just finished out my thread. So it got a lot of work this week. This is on my own fabric, but called for DMCs. It's 25 count Frost by Bee Stitch Me, 1 over 1 full cross. And I didn't add it all up. 228 on Tuesday, 299 on Wednesday, 145 on Friday, 125 on Sunday. So I pulled this down, I know that. I was working on some of this stuff. I don't know if I had those trees done before. So yeah. So these guys are all done now. So the next time I work on that, technically a couple of these stitches, if I were doing left to right typewriter symbol picking, I should do some of those first, but I think I'm going to start on the house next time this comes up for temperature stitching or phone call stitching. Because there's a lot of solid color in here. There's a lot of solid white on the roof. for like a snowy roof. So I will need to get that started before I add in the red. I don't want the red stitches to leave their fluff on my white stitches. So I got to do the white first. Okay, and then Meadow came out once. Let's see if this is in here. This is by Carolyn Manning, her bouquet collection. She's a prolific designer. She's always coming out with new things. This one is a non-full coverage. You can see the fabric show through. So it's going pretty quickly. I got 98 stitches on Thursday. This is 25 count moss Lugana, I think. 1/1 full cross, called for DMCs. I'm picking symbols in the second row, I think. So I can't remember what colors I did. Yellow, maybe, pink, I don't know. Oh, I did some green, I think. Hopefully you can see a difference. I don't remember what I did. That's all right. And then I pulled out Simpsons once on Saturday, which is a great day to have that one come out. So I don't have to be quite as secretive. I have a little bit of more time in the afternoon to stitch without being noticed. Because this is a secret stitch for my husband. And this time I was in the mood to go back to some of the stitches with the least amount of stitches remaining, which tend to be outline stitches and confetti bits, like one here, following some of the outlines. So I ended up, when I'm in the mood to do that, I got to take advantage of it. So I did 90 stitches, 90 half stitches, and finished 4 colors. So that felt really good. You may not be able to tell where they were, but some of the lines hopefully will be a little more obvious. This is 40 count Verdal, 1/1 half cross. And that's now at 69.97%, almost 70%. So it's getting there. It's coming along. All right, my main projects. You already saw Robin Christmas, which was my Wednesday, Thursday project. But I worked on Beachcomber for my gift stitch on Monday and Tuesday. This one's for my mom. I didn't get a ton of time on Monday or Tuesday, so I did some in the whale, but it's still a long way to go. I think if I'd had more time, I might have been able to finish that color, but it was a busy beginning of the week. So here's this one. 40 count raw linen, 1/2 full cross. And it's all my own fancy flosses for my stash, similar to what's called for. That this is a limited edition Live and Die LA that was from the Stitch Shenanigans retreat in 23. I'm really liking how that's turning out, so I'll keep chipping away at this next month. It's going to come out twice a month until it's done. And then I had a couple like miscellaneous pieces that I'm throwing in for my Fridays and Saturdays that are things that I just want to work on. So my Mondays and Tuesdays are gift stitching. Wednesdays, Thursdays are WIPGO, focus on a finish stitching. And then Fridays and Saturdays are whatever I feel like putting in there. And this year I would like to touch everything at least once for one day, at least. So that's what I'm pulling from just my list of, oh, what seems like a good project for March. So I had 2 projects this time, and Sundays are seasonal Sundays. So I'm rotating through some seasonal pieces for that. So this is one of the pieces I pulled out for March, Mirabilia's Petal Fairy. And she always gets the short end of the stick as far as time to work on her. So I think I worked on her twice before this rotation, and she still had hardly anything done on her. So it still doesn't look like a whole lot, but I actually did better this time. So she has some more progress, I guess. So this is, I forgot to say the name of this fabric. It's a nice green fabric. Cream de Menthe linen by Needle Bling. 32 count, and that's 2/2. So it looks crazy, but I've worked up, this is the start of her wing. So I worked up a shadow in her wing up to the top of her wing is right here, and then this is the start of stem that's going to go over to the flower that's above her head, because I want to get to the top. So I changed the colors of the greens, so I'm hoping they'll be good. I didn't like the greens that were charted. They were too browny yellow, and this is green fabric, so I knew that was going to be an issue as well. So I didn't want to pick colors that matched the fabric too closely. So I'm hoping the ones I picked are different enough that it will look, that they will stand out by themselves but still be green. So there's that. I'm hoping I picked some good ones, but I only got one in this time, and there's 4 shades of green. So hopefully next time I can get all 4 shades in and make sure they all are going to work before I get too far into it. So, and then the next one I did that was a just work on it because I want to piece is Friends of the Library. This was a former Bucilla needlepoint kit that I converted into cross stitch because I just want that so much better. I don't like the painted canvas and the yarn. So I'm doing this now on 18 count, and it's 2/1 Aida square with the DMCs that matched the yarn that came in the kit, and like laid out all of my colors and picked the ones that were the closest. So this is, I got 409 full crosses on this. So that was great. There's kind of chunks of color, so it goes quickly. I'm symbol picking in the second row, so I still have a couple symbols over here that still needed to get picked and worked through before I can come back and start picking symbols over here. But so I worked mainly over here. Little bit right here to kind of use up some threads, but pretty fun. I like this one. Oh yeah, and on Friday and Saturday, I worked with my daughter on cozy cabin kitties because we finally had time. She's been kind of interested in working on hers again for a while now, and it's just never quite worked because she only wants to pull it out if I also have time to work on mine at the same time. She wants it to be a buddy stitch. So this is a Cross Stitch for Everyone pattern by Missy Means. And she's stitching hers on 16 count. She's in one of the little kittens. It's a 16 count water lily, so I'll show hers. She wanted to do more fur colors, but also do one color of eyeball colors. That was the color that looked like it had the most stitches. So she's starting in on the eyes. Not a lot to do, but she's making progress, and she's not discouraged yet. She does ask, do you think I'll ever finish this? I'm like, well, I think you have a good chance. You're young, you have time. So that's hers. And mine is on 28 count Jobelin in, did I write down what mine is? Beige. 1/1 full cross. I'm at the top, and you can see a little bit of the mommy cat's ears. I did a little bit in the background, one more color in the mommy cat to kind of start seeing her other ear. With the shadows and everything, it wasn't the same color, wasn't over in the other ear. So, so next time I'll probably do another length of thread in the background and maybe a little bit more on the kitty cat. Because if I were doing this myself, I would have started up here, you know, and done the background first and all that. But I want her to be able to see what I'm working on and enjoy seeing the kitty come together too, because it's more fun that way. So, and I will have a very tiny margin on either side of this, but it was too perfect. Just, I had these 1/8 of a yard pieces. I'm like, you know what? It's fine. Or fat eighths. So it'll be like a 3/4 inch margin on each side. But I stitch in hand, so it's fine. So that was really fun to get that out again. So whenever we work on it, I'll be sure to share it. And then Sunday, I worked on my seasonal Sunday piece, which right now is my spring floral cross. I had hibernated these for a couple years, but I brought them out and I'm happy I did. I am enjoying them again, so that's good. I'm working on the kit everything. So this is a 14 count blue Aida. I'll bring it closer once you've seen the side by side. And so it's 2/1 full cross and then 1 strand back stitching. And I had a lot of fun. I worked this time in this bit. I did all the back stitching coming around here, and then I realized I had a lot more string left and I ran out of stuff to backstitch. So then I stitched in these 2 flowers and backstitched them. And these are some bits along with this over here, the greens, that I had more on my needle, so I just kept going. And then I was about to start backstitching the sticks when I realized there's more green up here too in the backstitching realm. So I pulled another strand of green and did a couple little bits of backstitching up here, and then finished out more backstitching or more cross stitches up here that were the same color as the backstitching. Then I finally got to start doing the sticks. So next time, oh, I think I did another brown in here too that wasn't quite done yet before. So a little bit more cross stitching up here. Now I can finish backstitching the sticks. I still have that backstitch color on my needle, so that'll be next Sunday. I'll do that. And then probably the tulip and this purple flower. There's a little bit right here that I need to stitch first, and then I can backstitch this flower. I need to obviously do more stitching in the tulip. Then I gotta backstitch or cross stitch around the section before I can do the backstitching. So it is fun that I can start to do some backstitching now because it makes it come alive. So I am enjoying that one. It's been fun. Okay, so plans. This coming week, my gift stitch is Bear Time Stories. That's the week for that. This is by Randall Spangler, artwork by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is the mini, and I'm stitching mine on 40 count Verdal 1/1 half cross. And currently I'm working on this color with the most amount of stitches. So I'm hopeful. This is 40 count Verdal 1/1 half crosses. I'm hoping I can get to some chunks and get some good numbers this month. Some chunks of that color. Because a lot of times it's just scattered and then you can't really see it filling in very well, but I want to keep trying to chip away at that color. And then I'll probably go back to the colors with the least amount of stitches and chip away at a few more of those before coming back to maybe a color with the most, which is, depending on my mood. I'll go back and forth probably. And then my WIPGO piece for the rest of March, because my WIPGO goal is 4 days, so 2 days each for 2 different weeks. And they're pieces that I would like to finish this month. So my second WIPGO goal is Colors of the Seasons 2. Colors of the Seasons 1 doesn't have the girls in it. It's just got some pretty seasonal scenes, but I liked the one with the little girls. So Robin Christmas Patchwork was the first WIPGO goal. That one now has seen all 4 days. So now this one's going to get 4 days. 2 days this week and 2 days next week. I'm hopeful. I'm working in summer right now. So that'd be really, really cool if I could finish summer this week and then next week I could get started on spring, which is the last one I have to do. This one had some issues with spacing, and I'm still not 100% sure what I'll do. I think I'm still leaning towards leaving off the words and then cutting them apart to finish them somehow, because I just can't be bothered with figuring out the spacing. So this, I think I'll probably frog this eventually, but Autumn was the first one I did and fell in love with it. And then I did Winter. Then I had some spacing issues with this part. I think Autumn by itself is all done, is right. And then counting up, I don't even know if I'm lined up right or whatever to leave it on one piece of fabric. So I think I'll just finish them separately. But this is the start of summer. So hopefully I can get that one finished this week. That would be really nice. I don't know if I'll have enough time for that. This is 27 count Linda in Vintage Country Mocha, and it's 2/2 full cross. So these are a little bigger than some things I do, but there was some back stitching and fractional stitches, so I couldn't do it over one. And yeah, it's really fun to work on. The big stitches are kind of satisfying in their own way, so we'll see how I get done on that one. The last few times I tried to work on this, I didn't have a lot of time, so this week is supposed to be busy, but hopefully I can get some time to stitch. we'll see. And then both Friday and Saturday, I'm planning to work on Floral Alphabet by JBW Designs, because this was one of the things I started for Carolyn Seasook Stitch's birthday, which is coming up. I think it's this weekend. So she worked on this already this month. But I'm planning to work on it for her birthday because I started it with her on a previous birthday. I'm stitching mine with 3 different colors instead of 1. So the letters are blue. Anything that looks like a flower is pink. Anything that looks like a leaf is green. So I kind of have to decide as I go what's what. So far it's been pretty fun. This is Demicel Lugana 28 count, 2/2 full cross. I don't know why I did 2/2. Maybe I thought it would fit the fabric better. Because it's picture this plus, so it's a little tight, so maybe I didn't want to do silks 1/1. I thought maybe it would, these are silks for you. Maybe I thought 1/1 on 28 picture this plus would be too bulky. So I got the ABC done. And so we'll see how far I can get. I'll probably go across the top like I like to do. So I guess we'll see what I get to. 2/2 does tend to be a little slower for me than 1/1. I feel like my sweet spot is definitely 1/1. So we'll see how I go. But I thought I'd give that the whole weekend, or the whole Friday, Saturday chunk, to make good progress on it for Carolyn's birthday. So that's that one. And then I'll work on my seasonal cross again on Sunday. So that's my plans. And then coming up, I thought I would share, let's see, I'll share my Stitchy acquisitions. I got the Fat Quarter Shop Stitch Quarterly. It came on Saturday. So if you have not seen it, you can maybe turn off or fast forward a little bit. But this is the project bag it came in, which is very cute. And they have a special pattern in the Stitch Quarterly every time that will eventually be released separately, but it's currently only in this. This one's called Springtime Blooms by Itzo Emma. At first glance, I'm like, I don't think so. As far as, there was like too big of chunks of the same, like, big blocks of color for me. But guess what fabric they sent? They sent some even weave, plaid even weave, which is hard to see in the picture that it's plaid. If you look really closely. So it kind of washed out a little bit, but it's like a gingham even weave, which would be really fun. And if I did, it came with, oh, I didn't even see the needle minder. How cute. It came with the DMC and the needle minder. And there's probably a needle in here as well. Yeah, I see the needle. If I switch this out to Fancy Floss and stitch it over 1, I might just do this one. Because, you know. And then they usually include like a fun little tool or a notion of some kind. And this time they had a floss bobbin station included, which is kind of fun. And I am a bobbinator, so I'll have to try this and see how I like it. But there's a magnet here for scissors or needles, and then it sits on flat on your desk, and you put your bobbins up here. So they're like lined up for you, ready to go. So if you're a bobbinator, this could be a really fun tool. I've seen Laura over at I Stitch Birds. She's got something similar. It doesn't look quite like this, but it is a bobbin holder that she lines up things for her projects. So I'll get to try that now too. So that was that. I don't have any plans to start that right away, but I may start that at some point. And then the upcoming starts I do have plans for are coming up here somewhat soon, but I thought I would share just in case you are inclined to get any of these and start along. So the first one is the floral sampler from Brenda Keys that I picked up at the Pacific Stitching Retreat a couple weeks ago. There were McKenna over at 1884 Stitchery. She was handing out Brenda Keys patterns to everybody in the room, and this is the one that really caught my eye. I'm like, I actually might stitch that. And another friend, Pam, that I met at the retreat in person, I've interacted with her on comments before, but it was fun to meet her in person. She got this one too. She's like, hey, you want to do a start along? So Pam and I and Pam's friend Karen are all going to start this in a couple weeks, March 31st, because that's kind of a bonus day for me. My rotation is mostly over, and April 1st starts Springo, so I didn't want to kind of mess with that. So, We're gonna start this on Monday, March 31st. And I'm doing mine a little different. So it's stitched on white. So this is background showing through here, but this is all full coverage. And some of these, like these corner ones, it's a half stitch, 1/1 background. And some of these are four-sided stitches that just, it's too tedious. It's kind of like 1/1 skin on Mirabilia's. I ain't got time for that. So I'm going to do mine a little different. I'm going to actually put it on this 28 count Lugana that's a mystery oops fabric that I got at the retreat by Live and Dye LA. And I'm going to do it 1/1 full cross, but I'm not stitching any of the backgrounds. I will stitch this, like these corner bits, because I think that's pretty, but all the other weird stuff I'm not doing. I'm just going to do the little pots of flowers and, you know, all that stuff. So I think that'll be fun. So we'll see how that goes. So if you want to join in, we're going to start that on March 31st. And then in April, I had planned to do this already with Dina half stitch cross stitch. And I think Lori Once Upon a Stitch is also joining her. And the two of them had planned to start this in April sometime. I'm like, I have that in my stash. Can I join you? So I'm going to start Isabella's Garden by Lavender and Lace. I was gifted this along with all the DMCs, and I have kitted up with it a large piece of olive green 32 count linen that somebody gave me. And I also have Titania Queen of the Fairies kitted up with this fabric potentially, and I think there's Queen Anne's lace in here. Potentially could go on that without the background. So, but for now, this is the one that's getting started. So I got all the DMCs, and this is going to be my start. So if you want to start this with me, I think you can still find this pattern. It's a cute one. So I don't know how big it is. Let's see. 138 by 154. So not amazingly huge. So I'll be doing that 2/2 on the 32 count linen on sometime in April. I don't know the exact date of this one because of Springo. I'm gonna put it in for my letter I for Springo, and there's 5 spots underneath the letter I. So it could get called up to 5 times in the first 25 days, but it likely will get a few less than that because not all the squares are going to get called. There's 35 squares in only 25 days. So 10 squares on the board will not get called. So anywhere, I don't know what the least likely is if it's possible. Yeah, it probably would be. Anywhere from like 0 to 5. Hopefully it gets called at least once. And I'll get that started. And then there's another one that I'm still on the fence about. It's the Historical Sampler Company's new Mystery Stitch Along is starting also on March 31st. And I was almost 100% planning to do it. I'm just going to go buy the PDF and get that started because I'll put a little teaser up. It's like a little garden scene, which looks very cute. It's got a little symmetry, but not 100% like, it doesn't have boxes or quilty patchworky themes, so it's a little bit more I don't know, random. And I was really wanting to do it, but I used up a lot of my discretionary money going to Joann's recently. I'm like, do I really want to buy that? I have so much else I need to stitch, and it's almost $20 US. So if I start it, I will either start it on another section of this or this through the rest of my Through the Stones. They're both a green, but one's a warm green and one's a cool green. So I'll have to pull the threads and see which one it looks better on, and see if I want to start that. I'm not 100% sure on that one. It does look a little bit fiddly. Like some of the little bees or little flowers have lots of different colors in one little space, which I don't tend to like that kind of stitching. So then I'm thinking, well, maybe I could just not worry about it, but I'm still really leaning towards doing it. So we'll see. That's a maybe. Other than that, I think that's all I have going on stitchy wise. Like I said, it's going to be a very busy week life wise. So we shall see how much stitching I can get done this week. So hopefully I can get a little bit at least. And if whatever I get done, I'll come back and share it with you next week. Happy stitching. Bye.